Most chefs don't burn out because they're bad at the job. They burn out because urgency hijacks the majority of their days. And that leads to the work that matters getting the least attention last. Now, if you feel like you're constantly busy but nothing moves forward, it's because one of up to 5 critical resources are going undermanaged. Manage them and the operation is stable, predictable. Ignore them and chaos becomes a daily obstacle. Now let's fix that. By the end of this video, I'm going to introduce you to the 5 resources every successful executive chef manages and give you the first step that I consider towards managing each one. And if you like content like this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now, I think about these one discipline at a time because, like most things, it's about the seemingly insignificant, easy to overlook. So let's start this by talking about time. More specifically, how it's used. Time is the most non-renewable resource, but most chefs give it away well before the day even starts. There's no need for a new calendar. Time and time again, I find that what's needed is a new frame. So let's talk about that step 1. Step 1 is frame the week and map out what your week looks like. That's everything that's necessary for you to complete in order to do your job. Start with an empty week template and add in the deadlines, regularly occurring meetings, calls, lineups. Write in everything that captures your time in the week from memory. Check it and confirm that it's all there with existing calendars, invites, and notes. And then make sure you include start times, end times, outlet opening, closing, everything that you need to do. Your baseline, your benchmark for weekly performance. Now the key here is to check in on it daily for 4 weeks and tweak that weekly template with appointments, things you've missed, and consider the time when you could better complete things as opposed to when you have to. And again, if you haven't already, turn that into your weekly benchmark for the start and the baseline work that needs to get done. And at the end of all of this, we'll be able to find some time in your week for focused work blocks. To me, managing time is all about flow. And I think of flow as framing how your time is used, logging what you're doing, optimizing that, and then working your calendar. Take the time to start with a frame and the week becomes a plan. Let's go on to resource number 2 is managing finances, because this is the easiest way to stay in command. And it also requires focus. Lack of focus on the numbers creates a constant need for reaction to emergencies that could have easily been avoided in the first place. If you want to improve your management of the financial aspects of the kitchen, try running a 5-minute daily snapshot at a consistent daily time to check sales, check purchases, check waste, check labor, and compare those to the budget. Once you do that, objectify the data and discuss the results with your management team. Keep emotion out of it, talk about what those insights are telling you, and adjust accordingly. Act accordingly. That's it. This is the first move towards focus, or follow the money. After that, it's much easier to objectify the data, then count, utilize, and systemize everything that's in your budget. I think the vast majority of stress comes from the unknown, and finances are going to be a struggle until you're tracking every dollar. When we start to do that, we raise awareness, and awareness reduces stress more often than worrying ever could. On to number 3, attention. Because time doesn't determine what gets done, what gets our attention does. A few things about attention that you may or may not realize. It's just as limited as time and money. What you manage is what gets done, and where your attention goes, completion follows. I think of this as 2 points, opposite ends of a spectrum, and we usually fall somewhere in between them. On one side is where we're totally in control of our attention, and on the other is where our attention is ruled completely by others and their urgent need for us to do something. Now, speaking from experience, it's easy to get addicted to that constant need, which over time, which leads to letting go of having a plan. Now, if you feel like you experience attention problems, here's what I do to reset your step 1. Brain dump everything that feels like it's competing for attention. Sort it out and try to name the top 3 priorities from that brain dump. Next, actually sit with them to break them into projects and tasks. And then work on those each piece by piece until they are completed. See, it's really easy to get into the work that we think we need to do without taking a minute and actually considering what's most important, what most needs to get done. And this is just a little bit of a reminder that I use to get my attention where it's supposed to be so I can focus on the thing that's most necessary. This is what it means to get clarity. And clarity protects attention from everything that doesn't matter. Once we have clarity on where we put our attention, we have a better chance to control our action. And that's the next resource, is action. So we truly execute. Once you gain clarity on where your attention should be, you gain control over the actions that move the operation forward. Because being busy is not the same as executing. Activity feels productive, but execution is what actually drives productivity. Through my coaching and through my work, I found that most chefs fall into the same trap that I did very often in my career, where we fill the day with work we like or that we're good at, that seems simple, that we can kind of flow into. What we really need to act on is the work that matters for our role. Execution begins when your actions align with your actual priorities, not the constant string of urgent distractions. Now, the first step here is to move something off of the plate and try delegating one responsibility this week that you insist on taking care of yourself normally. Pick one task you should no longer be doing, something repeatable, teachable, and definable. Then take the time to write it into a standard and give your delegatee a 5-minute handoff. Set a clear definition of done with a clear deadline, then review progress until it's complete. That's it. I'm not just talking about executing for the sake of doing something. I'm talking about executing through the team the work that needs to get done. And execution isn't about adding more, it's about doing less, but making sure that what gets done is what matters. That shift alone will immediately expand leadership capacity, and that leads to a higher level of execution. And the final resource that I'm talking about today is talent, and that's the true ceiling of every operation. That's your people. Every chef wants a strong team. A strong team, however, is the result of the talent being developed, as opposed to being a resource that's used. And here's the truth that I've learned: if you don't manage your talent, they leave. Ultimately, your team is the amplification of everything managed or unmanaged in your operation. So your step one, hold one-on-ones and learn what your team amplifies from your culture of your system. One cook at a time, one conversation at a time, 15 minutes at a time, and cover 3 clear points. What's working in the operation, what doesn't work in the operation, and what makes them want to be a part of the team. I call this targeting. What your target employees bring to the table and take from the operation. It's the first step in knowing, leading, and developing your talent. After you do that, then you can align your team with your goals, lead them in the right direction, empower them to get the work done, notice what's working and what's not, and transfer your skills. You can't scale an operation if you don't scale your people. Now, when you manage these 5 resources with discipline, your time becomes yours again. You can stabilize finances, your attention leads to output, your execution yields meaningful results, and your people lift everything higher. A key lesson that I learned the hard way is that when reaching the role as executive chef through a career of cooking, it's natural to move the responsibilities associated with these skills, the management of these 5 resources, to the back burner. It took me a lot longer than I care to admit that this was the work. And when I owned it, success followed. Not because of hope, not talent, not luck, resource management. And it really can be that simple if the focus is put into learning how to manage those skills. Now, if you want to learn how structure leads to the management of these critical resources, then start by getting your kitchen structure score below. There's no cost, no requirement, nothing other than clicking the link below. You'll get your structure score and a 30, 60, 90-day roadmap. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.